Hey everyone, I know in my last video I said remaster a lot when a remake would apply to it as well. I'm going to do the same for this video. I said remaster, but just know I'm very aware that a remake would be more ideal for Saints Row. Just understand that and enjoy the video.
Hey there everyone, so if you watched my most recent video, you know I spoke about a video idea talking about what makes Saints Row 1 really unique and fun, and just an awesome game all around. So obviously if you watched my Saints Row in 2021 video, that was one of my earlier videos on the channel, you'd know I do quite like the game, despite the fact I haven't played it quite as much as all the others, I'd say. I do have a lot of fond memories, especially from that intro mission for sure. That one will forever stick out to be one of the coolest things in the world. I remember trying so hard to beat all the Saints as they come and attack, even though by today's standards and now I'm a grown up, it's very easy. But I remember being young and being like, oh my god, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna beat up all the Saints. How time flies, eh? But today we're gonna just talk about what makes Saints Row 1 really awesome, really unique, and really cool as a game, and why. And this will really like add on to my why we should have a remaster video. If you haven't watched that, definitely watch that beforehand, because this is going to go hand in hand, or maybe watch it afterwards, to be honest. It's either way, it would work fine. But this is kind of like a part two to things that I think made the game really unique and awesome. And these are quite small things, not major things, but just things I quite like about the game. Really small, minute details that made the game pretty awesome for me. And you want to know how small? Well, let's get started. So, first off, the main menu. Really weird thing here, but I remember seeing Flippy on his second channel uploaded a video talking about well, not talking about it, but he kind of like posted the main menu thing shown in like an E3 thing, and it's awesome. But if you don't know, in Saints Row 1, and I think this goes the same in Saints Row 2 as well, but I prefer Saints Row 1's. If you leave it at the main menu for like 15 seconds, it will start showing gameplay of like violence and like actual gameplay of the game with some cool ass rap music in the background, and it is just really awesome to watch. I really liked this. I remember being young and watching this like the whole way through. I'd literally sit there and watch the whole menu the whole way through because I was that kid and I liked watching it all. And this is really small, and you don't see it in the newer games. I'd say that Saints Row 2 did it worse, but still did it. Obviously with the whole Dane Vogel interview shit. And then in Saints Row 3, we just had that weird like dubstep track, and then the same with Fourth, and then Get Out of Hell was Get Out of Hell. And then obviously, I don't know what the reboot will do. I'd like something like this for the reboot, but I'm not holding off on it. But I remember seeing this when I was younger and thinking it was really cool. And obviously, this is quite a small feature. We're obviously going to build it to the better features later. But I remember seeing this and thinking, man, this is fucking awesome. Bring this back. But in a remaster, I guess we'd have this too. I think Saints Row the Third Remastered kind of did something cool and sort of like this, but I'd say probably not as good. But I'd say Saints Row the Third Remastered was not too bad when it comes to the main menu, but this game really peaked when its main menu options are there, because I just really like watching the background. I don't know why, small thing. Hair length. In this game, and I didn't notice it till I went back, you can change the length of your hair, and I don't think we can see that in any other Saints Row. I think that's really weird. So the fact they had, like, the ability to shorten and, like, lengthen your hair, and they just never brought it back. That was kind of weird, right? So obviously, if with a remaster, the hair would look awesome. So the fact like we'd have control over like the exact length we'd want it, I think if they really focused on making the character model look awesome, it would look really dope. Imagine being able to like, even imagine like with the remastered third game's hairstyles. Imagine being able to like edit the length and how you want it to be. I think that'd just be really cool. I think it'd actually be quite modern compared to like the other Saints Rows. It was something all the other Saints Rows lacked for sure. And they definitely should bring it back. I don't think it was in Saints Row 2. If it is, I'm going to feel really stupid, but I'm pretty sure it was just in Saints Row 1. I always found the fact you couldn't aim in Saints Row 1 quite weird at first. I never really liked it. I thought it made the game feel dated. But as time goes on and I go back and I play the first game, I kind of like it more and more. And I realized that in Saints Row 2, I did the same thing. Even though I had an aiming mechanic, I didn't really use it too much. I kind of just always aimed using the hip fire thing. So maybe Saints Row 1 is ahead of the curve there, and I think the fact they had no aiming mechanic made the game quite unique. I also liked how the guy would hold the gun sideways, kind of like more gangster, which obviously gets us into our next point here, which is the most gangster-toned game. Now, while Saints Row 2 was pretty gangster, I think there's definitely a difference between people who have connections with the cartel and voodoo doll god people. You know what I mean? There's definitely that little disconnect. And whether you prefer one or the other, that's fine. But I think that for the people wanting a really gangster game, Saints Row 1 is definitely the most unique in this aspect, and I think it's the one that people would really go to for a gangster experience. And I think if it was updated visually, and maybe even gameplay-wise, of a full-on remake, it would look awesome. But definitely made this game really unique, because I'd say that the second game didn't capture it nearly as much, because you were the leader of the gang, you had a lot more power, it was a lot more crazy, whereas in Saints Row 1, you were literally like, as the boss said himself in the second game, a bitch who kept his mouth shut and got told what to do, you know what I mean? So I think it was pretty awesome to kind of feel like you're part of a gang instead of leading the gang in Saints Row 1, so I'd love to see that come back. And also, it has a really gritty tone, I think that's also quite important. Say what you want about Saints Row 3 and 4's tone, but I think people overstate how dark Saints Row 2's tone is. Yeah, I'm not denying there was, like, dark moments, but if you watch Flippy's, like, April Fool's video, he spoke about how you can go from, like, spraying shit on buildings to Carlos's death scene. It's like, he was joking, but he kind of had a point, you know what I mean? Obviously, not many people really had this issue, because not many people went from Septic Avenger to Carlos's death, but he did kind of have a point. Saints Row 2 was a lot more wacky, and I think people overstate how gangster it really was. It was definitely more gangster than the next entries in the games, for sure, but if you want a true gritty, dark gangster experience, where the tone is just dark and almost scary, then look no further than Saints Row 1. Even the box art is quite scary. If you have a Saints Row 1 360, go grab that disc out, go grab the manual, and read through it. It's genuinely fucking awesome. And then we're going to get on to our final point here, and I think I spoke about this kind of a little in my previous video. I also know that RPG kind of spoke on this in the comment section, if you can find his. He made a pretty decent comment talking about it. It's the multiplayer. Saints Row 1's multiplayer thrived. It was the peak of Saints Row multiplayer. Everything after it fell off way further than it needed to, if we're being completely honest. Even the second game, people can say how much they love that game. I understand, but its multiplayer was in a different level to Saints Row 1, and I never even got to play both of them. That's how well Saints Row 1's legacy multiplayer is, like, out there. Like, if you ask anyone who played Saints Row 1 in its prime, and then played Saints Row 2 in its prime, which had the better multiplayer, you'd be hard-pressed to find a guy that said Saints Row 2, by the look of things. Saints Row 1 had a really cool, like, ranking system. I think you could have, like, the whole make your gang system, then score as many points as you can to be the best on the leaderboards. I'd love for something like this to come back in a future game, but I'd equally love for it to come back in a remaster, and it was so popular. Even to this day, there are plenty of Discord servers out there where you can simply go, guys, I want to hop on Saints Row multiplayer, and you'll get a group of, like, 5-6 people come and join you, and you'll go and have a multiplayer experience. I'm very tempted to do it for a video myself. The problem is, I don't really know too much about the multiplayer, so maybe next time, like, RPG streams or something, I'll ask him if I can join one of his and kind of experience what the Saints Row 1 multiplayer actually was back in the day. Because I definitely missed out on quite a gem there. Sadly, I was just too young. I mean, I think it came out, like, 2006, this game did, so I'd have been, 2. Which is, you know, a little bit outside of my age range, I can't lie. I don't think I'd have been quite the multiplayer god I may be these days. But, yeah. I think that the multiplayer was fucking awesome by the sense of it. I know everyone has a lot of fond memories on that multiplayer, and I would love to see that come back in a remaster. Anyway, those are just some things that are, you know, some are small, some are a lot bigger, but things that I think made Saints Row 1 quite unique. And then there's tons of other little stuff which I'm just going to go through right now. So, there was a working train. Adverts on the radio corresponded with the shops in-game. So if you saw that Sloppy Seconds was having a 25% off sale on the radio, you can go check Sloppy Seconds and you can see that it's having it off. The radio stations as a whole were a lot better. Its music was fucking awesome. I don't know how the licensing would be for a remaster because it's quite an old game, but its music was dope as shit, man. Its story, whilst being a little dated, was fucking awesome too. 100% need to play through that if you haven't. Even just watch the videos from Saint, man. He has the movies, basically, where he puts all the cutscenes together and plays them. Very entertaining watch. I do recommend it. I told you I'd watch it myself. And it's a very good way to experience the story. And I'm sure there's plenty more which everyone can fill me in on. But, yeah. I think that does it for me. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, all that boring stuff. I don't know why I'm even saying it. You guys do it regardless. And I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Peace out, man.
Sign the Saints Row 2 petition!